Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Corey. Some of y'all call me Dr. Guyton. It really doesn't matter as long as you call your boy blessed. I want to welcome you back for another episode of Country's Crossroads. So for today's topic, I know this ain't my normal style. I know that, I usually promote positive love, positive relationships, respect, all those things. But today I need for y'all to put your foot down and be the boss in your relationship. Y'all know I couldn't even say that with the right look. No, man, that's not what I'm saying in this video. But what I'm talking about today, honestly, is being the supervisor of your relationship. And it's 3 steps that I'm gonna take you through to show you how to be the supervisor in your relationship so you can get the best out of your relationship. I want you to be in the best situation possible. And so it's gonna parallel with the role of a true supervisor. So the first thing is, before you get into a relationship or before a person is hired with a company, they have to go through an interview process. So if you're gonna be the supervisor of your relationship, you gotta properly hire the person that you're gonna be with. And anytime you hire somebody, what you gotta do? You gotta send that person through an interview. The same way people sit down at a table and do the interview, you gotta do the interview. So that means that you can't be too physical too soon. That means you have to sit down and have conversations. That means that you don't sit and watch movies all the time. You need to go out and have conversations. Meaning you need to ask questions, ask the hard questions. Ask them about their family, ask them how they plan to treat you, ask them about previous relationships, ask them their strengths, their weaknesses. You need to know who you're dealing with before you get in a relationship with people, y'all. Sometimes we get with people and we have no clue with who we're with. And so you gotta properly interview that person. But within the hiring process, you also gotta do a reference check. You know how the companies, they'll pick up the phone, hello, do you know a Corey Guyton? Could you tell me a little bit about his history? That's the type of thing they do. So why can't you do that whenever it comes to your relationship? Pick up the phone, call somebody that may know this person. If you're on a college campus, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, do you know such and such? Could you tell me a little bit about him? Because people will tell you about another person. Now the thing is, as a supervisor, we got to take that into consideration of whatever they say. Sometimes we don't want to take what somebody tells us about a person. That's the whole point of doing a reference check. And then the last thing within hiring a person is you got to get the resume. You got to look at their previous relationships, y'all. Whenever we get resumes and hiring people on a real job, that's because we're trying to look at their history, what type of experiences you have. Because see, we'll call the previous companies and find out if you've been fired. If your resume show that you left each of these jobs or you only been on those jobs for about 3 months and now you got a new job, that means that you're not stable. Same way, look at the resume of this person. I know it's not a paper resume, but you gotta look at their dating history. You gotta look at how long they were in relationships. Were they in relationships for only 3 months? Then that means they're not a stable individual. So you gotta take that stuff into consideration. Now, the second step is that you have to determine if that person is gonna be a part-time employee or if that person is gonna be permanently full-time hired. Now, my suggestion is part-time employee, because the thing with part-time is that you don't get benefits. In the real world, a real part-time job, you don't get benefits. That's one of the biggest differences. So part-time in the form of a relationship is where you make yourself exclusive to that person, but they still don't have that title of being in a solid relationship with you because they're still in a probationary period. You got to see if they're worthy of being in your company or worthy of being with you. And so you have to put them at that part-time status, and during that time, you can't be physical. During that time, it's all about getting to see how that person performs, meaning how they're gonna treat you, see how that their dedication to you, seeing if they're really in it for you. And then based off of that part-time status, then you can hire them full-time. And see, when you hire them full-time, then they get benefits. See, the thing is, here's the thing. You don't get full-time, you can't touch your retirement in a real job until you put in so many years and you make it to a certain age. And I parallel that back to dating to, you can't get physical with a person until you vested into that person, meaning that you put time into that person. A lot of us, we want to just go ahead and jump into that sex thing, and I'm an advocate now for waiting till marriage. Why not go ahead and get that person to retire with you before they can access that retirement fund or access that special thing down there. Why not wait until you got that true investment, that time that shows that they are willing to invest it into your company? Because what'll happen is they'll come in and they'll get that retirement fund right quick, and then they'll bounce out, pull money out of that 401k and keep it moving, meaning they'll sleep with you and keep it moving. So my advice is, even if you hire them permanent, you need to take your time with being physical. But some people, y'all can't wait. It's okay. But make sure that person really works for you, though. Prove themselves to you and prove themselves worthy. And then the next thing is, or the final thing is, you got to evaluate the person. In any job, you get evaluated maybe monthly, quarterly, or yearly. You got to evaluate people, because here's why. Let's think about a true company. Let's think about, you ever been on a job and you hired someone and you in the interview, and the interview went very well, the reference checks went very well, everything seemed perfect about this person. They're going to be the perfect person to work with. But as the first month they came in, they were doing an excellent job. But then as time progressed, they started to fall off. That's because they came in with all this adrenaline. They came in trying to prove themselves, but then they got content. Because if they're not being evaluated, they know that the odds of them losing their job is not high, because they don't have any paper trails, not any evaluations. And so I encourage you to do the same. You have to evaluate, because as men or women, we come into relationships giving you our all. We come in making sure that we put our best foot forward. But then if you're not evaluating us and we know we're not going to lose you, why should we maintain our high performance? Because we don't have to. We're not being evaluated. So when you're evaluating a person, you got to tell them their strengths, their weaknesses. You got to tell them the things you need them to change. Because in a real job, if they evaluate you, they're going to tell you what you need to change, what you need to do better. And if the next time it comes around, they're going to check and see if you have done better. And if you haven't, you may get a letter in your file, or in the extreme cases, you may get fired, especially if it keeps happening. We have to treat our relationships like that, y'all. We can't just get into a relationship and then just take the poor performance all the way through. It doesn't work like that. You got to evaluate the person you're with. At the quarterly point, you got to say, hey, listen, this got to change. I mean, you came in the interview when we first met, you said you're going to treat me this way, this is the way things were going to go, but then it's not like that. And so what I'm saying is, you have to tell that person that they either need to change or they're going to have to deal with the consequences. And in some cases, the consequences mean you have to cut that person off. I know terminating people isn't easy, but for you, and like a company terminates people because they're trying to be productive. For you, you're trying to live a good life. You're trying to live a happy relationship. So you have to cut some people off, because you could hire somebody else that can come in and really perform the way you want them to perform. As always, thank you for tuning in to this video. I hope that you were inspired by this video. I pray that you reach out to me if you have any issues. You can email me. My email is corey.guyton@gmail.com, so don't hesitate. Email me if you have any questions or concerns. You can check out my other YouTube videos, which is Ask the Guytons. That's where my wife and I, we answer questions. So you can send questions and we'll answer it on there. Or we can keep it private. Well, I'll just send an email back to you. It doesn't matter. But always go and check out my people over at urbanconnect.com. Check out our website, ybelove.com. All of those platforms that I just told you about, you can sign up for. So sign up for my website, sign up for Urban Connect, and please subscribe to the channel. And I need your help growing this movement. So please share these videos with your friends and tell them about it and encourage them to subscribe. So thank you for your love as always. God bless you, and I wish you the best in life.